Hello everyone and welcome to episode 2 of the Two Old Gamers podcast. It's it's the 20th of January, a little bit late recording this next episode. We did try and record one, but we had some technical issues. But
Mark fucked it up basically.
Yeah, I fucked it up, yeah. But Mike's here with me. Say hello, Mike.
Hello listeners, nice to talk to you again. Hope you all had a nice Christmas and a happy New Year.
That was so long ago.
Oh, yeah, this is one of the things we were discussing is like, we've sort of missed the boat a bit on 2015 best of, but we'll do our best. So Mark, if you want to kick off, what's the first on the agenda?
I just thought we'd have a little bit of a catch up, because I mean, it has been a while. Christmas.
It has been a while. Yes, it was very good. Let me see, what did we get up to game-wise? I quite like Christmas because sometimes I end up trying something a bit different, you know, because, I mean, even now, the PlayStation Store's got a great sale on at the moment where you can get some massive discounts. And the first one I dipped my toe in after I completed Everybody's Gone to the Rapture and I completed Yakuza 5, which by the way was fantastic, and I've still got side stories to do on that. I think it says 17% completion, even though I finished like all the main games, so I caned that.
What? 17%?
Yeah, because there's tons of mini games and it's a brilliant game. It's the best Yakuza ever, but I don't want to wax lyrical about it, otherwise a certain person we know called Mark Payne might get the ump because, you know,
we've got a time allowed for you to talk about Yakuza 5. Don't run into it now.
Okay, let's not go into that. But I will come back to something to do with the Yakuza series later on. So what I did, I thought they had Need for Speed, the new one that everyone thought was shit, for $4.99 or something.
Okay.
I thought, fuck it, yeah, I think I'll give that a go. And even though it's got lots of cheese-tastic FMV with all these young actors who have not been anything decent, going, you know, fist bumping you. I need to get my technical things correct.
Strange young actors pumping you.
Well, only if they're female, but
So I think
it was good.
Are they actually actors, or are they just members of the development team making a bad job of it? Is it any good?
Well, to be quite honest with you, I thought it was good because the drifting, which I normally have a big problem with the drifting, because you know they always split it up between races and then drifting. I actually got a handle on the drifting quite well. The setup's easy. It's a bit of an idiot's guide to racing games, really. They make it very, very simple for you to tweak your car and you know, get into races. It's one of these perma online things. So as you're racing round, there'll be other people racing round. You do get the odd dickhead who knows that someone's on a race and they just try to, you know, crash into you head on to try and spoil your chances and things like that, you know.
Oh, is it like a persistent online world? So there's other people...
Like the last Burnout.
Yeah.
But what it does, you got reputation and you drive the car in all these different races and then you go back to a bar and there's like a pool hall that looks like something out of some, you know, 70s biker movie. And they go, yo, man, and yeah, hit me up and talk to this dude. This cat's really fast and all this sort of thing. But believe it or not, even it's so cheese-tastic, it's actually quite fun, and you do actually feel like you're this person that they're all addressing you. It's all first person, so you never see anything of this character that you're playing.
Yeah.
But they do create like a believable little mini world, and it all happens at night, and the roads always look wet. So, even though it doesn't affect the grip's like as if it was a dry road. So you've got this, you're always sort of operating in this twilight world, this underground scene, and to be quite honest with you, I played a lot of the game, and I really got into it, tuning the shit out of my car and trying to get squeezing every last bit of brake horsepower out of it. So, the 25 quid, I'm well happy with that. Thought that was really good.
That's a good game to go to after Yakuza, because you might not know this, but I think I heard this somewhere else, that the last guy, there's a certain, the bosses in the game, the top guys you're trying to race, are actually real life racing drivers.
Yeah, I heard, isn't there there's one of those guys that drives a Subaru or whatever, he can like do millions of donuts and put it on a sixpence and all that sort of, what's his, Tom?
Ken Block.
Ken Block, that's him.
It. Well, anyway, the top guy who you're after, I think it might be a Japanese guy. He's a real life street racer and also bona fide member of the Yakuza. Nice.
Well, all I can say is that it was great. And the other purchase I made, which is The Witcher 3. I had it before, and I played it. I didn't realise how much I played it before, but what I decided was that, I know I've mentioned this to you and someone else that's got the game, is that I thought, you know what, this is such a huge game, I'm not going to handicap myself, because I found the combat a bit difficult when you first get going. And even when you're going, it's like, I always felt that I'm not one of these masochists that just like everything rock hard, so I basically decided to put combat on easy.
Right.
And as a result, I've probably just, before we started this podcast, I just completed the 180th hour on that game.
Well, your Christmas revelation of dropping the difficulty down to basically the easiest settings.
Yeah.
I thought, do you know what? Maybe that's what I need to do. I have now, in the last couple of weeks, I've done the same thing. I was stuck in Novigrad in the city storyline, which can get a little bit, kind of gets a bit boring in that bit.
Yeah.
And dropping it down to easy, I'm now on Skellige, and I think I've got about 5 missions left.
Skellige is incredible, isn't it? Don't you think? The terrain and the weather effects. The game is beautiful. And I also bought the expansion, Hearts of Stone, which they said was another 10 hours, and I finished that as well. And then after that, I've been trying to claw my way up to level 104, so not level 40 rather. But the thing you need to bear in mind is that once you get if you've done it on easy combat, the higher the level you go, you get less XP. If you build your character up using side quests throughout and sort of do it in line with the main game. I mean, I did side quests, but I mean the amount of question marks on every map that you discover are just, I mean, that was one of the things that put me off it after a while, I just felt a bit overwhelmed. And when some of the combat, this is a point I've made, is that I don't mind games having hard combat if the respawn takes 2 or 3 seconds, but when it has to reload such a massive open world again, and you're sat there for a minute or a minute and a half for a reload, it takes this fun out of the game. So
the thing about it is I've played previous Witcher games, and I've also read some of the Witcher books, and the thing is that Geralt's a badass. He's meant to be this awesome sword fighter.
And that's the way you feel when you put it on easy combat.
And that's what I wasn't getting out of that game until I dropped it right down to just the story mode, and literally I now wade into people just going, come on in. And that's the way I'm meant to feel.
Yeah, you can learn the nuances of the combat better as well once you start, because there's nothing worse. Most of the battles I got into on normal difficulty, I was getting shot by some bloke with a crossbow. Or 2 or 3 blokes, and in the early stages, if you get more than 2 enemies, you're fucked. You get killed, and it's reload, start again, find where the hell you are, and it's just frustration. Games need to be fun, and for me, that worked for me.
I mean, since the game released back in May last year, I mean, they have patched a hell of a lot of it, and they've changed things, and they have made improvements, but unfortunately, there is still one part of that game I can't stomach. I just can't.
The Ciri missions?
No, it's the skill tree. It's really, it's really painful. I don't like it. It's really, really painful. But
I talked to a mutual friend of ours, Paul, the other night, and to be honest with you, once you've put in a good few hours, it does become second nature. But I have noticed that there is a bit of a PC type lag thing with their menu systems. That it's not slick, and it's full of all this crap that you pick up. And I think that's something in future games I know they come from the PC, but it wouldn't be a bad idea to try and think, well, let's try and optimise. I mean, I remember when one of the Witches came out and the freaking text was it Witcher 2? The text was fucking tiny. They didn't think that people on consoles would need they had to patch it to put in bigger text, didn't they?
Yeah. Possibly, yeah. Might be right.
They did. And, but it's been great, and I can't wait for Blood and Wine, which is another, because I paid for the expansion pass, and at least CD Projekt Red, who make these games, haven't ripped you off like
it was
Ubisoft and bloody Activision do.
I mean, this kind of going on to what we want to talk about later, but I mean, I think that game, the retail version of that, my God, it was nice to buy a game and open a case, and all of a sudden I had a manual, a map, some stickers, a letter from the developer thanking you for buying their game, a CD soundtrack, and sort of, oh my God, that was sort of like, that made the game more special.
Well, that sort of segues into another thing that I've noticed, is that because I digitally downloaded it, I remember getting all that when I had the physical copy, but like Need for Speed and things like that, I don't mind buying a full price game and getting a box and all that stuff with it. That's good. But when they reduce it to half the price and it's digital, I'm happy with that, because I know that if I buy it for 25 quid, I'm not going to get much in trade-in. And to have The Witcher just sitting there and I can just go click and it starts running, saves me getting off my arse and going through my cupboard and fishing out what disc's in there and what disc isn't in there. I know it sounds ultra lazy, but it just makes it more accessible for me.
We are old gamers, and having to get up and change the discs is an important thing for us these days.
So what I would say is that I'm not the sort of person that's going to spend 50 or 60 quid on a digital version to get something on day one. And again, this whole thing opens up the whole idea, which is, well, what I'm going to try and do is not spend so much money on day one games. Either wait till they've come down in price after a month.
Yeah.
Because, I picked up Far Cry. I had Far Cry 4, didn't again, played a little bit of it, but got sort of sidetracked. But it's still a good game, so I picked that up for 14 quid, and it's digital, so I can just go click and it's away. That's good, because there's so many good games which we'll then discuss about 2015, the ones, the highlights, So that's 170, 180 hours. That's pretty much what I've been playing since Christmas. I haven't really felt like doing anything else, and it's so nice to bury yourself in a deep game like that. It's really nice to just bury yourself, and then you get the consistency of knowing what the controls are. You get used to all the little niggles, the combat, and the story was great. The voice acting, I mean, top game. It reminded me a bit of like the way I'd describe it, it's a bit like a cross between Mass Effect 2, Red Dead Redemption, and set in a medieval fantasy setting. Yeah. And that's pretty damn good, because Mass Effect's one of my favourite games, and Red Dead Redemption is brilliant as well. So, how about you then? What did you manage to get to?
I had a very strange Christmas for me, because I did not get any games. Normally my Christmas list is full of games this year, and this year it wasn't. I was
socks and pants, was it?
No, unfortunately for my family, it was Star Wars toys. Lots and lots and lots and lots and lots.
Yeah.
So no, but I managed to do what I wanted to do over Christmas. I finished Assassin's Creed Syndicate. So I think that was my challenge from the last time we recorded.
I do want to play that, and
I've
got the DLC. I paid for the Ripper DLC, and I started the Ripper DLC the other day, and I thought, well, shit. So I need to go back and play the main game first, I think.
I would say you need to play that whole game, because I think the storyline of the Ripper DLC follows on after the main game.
Yeah, I realised that. I thought I'd have a quick look, though, you know.
That might spoil the whole game.
Right, okay.
But no, I mean, I've been thinking about it. Since I completed it, I've been thinking about it. And I mean, the thing is, I'm not going to rave about how great it was, because it wasn't. It was just that last year's game was so bad.
Although we did think, I thought it was good, though.
They've now got it. They've now put, no, but this is now, last year's game was good after all the patches and all the, but it was still, as an Assassin's Creed game, it's
so it's more like
it was on par with Assassin's Creed 3. This year is on par with Brotherhood.
Oh, okay.
Right.
So well, that's a good recommendation.
It's a good Assassin's Creed game, but it's still just another annual updated Assassin's Creed game.
Yeah.
Which is why I'm really happy that they've announced. Well, they're not really officially announced it, I don't think yet, but they're literally, there's no Assassin's Creed game this year. And they're going to take a break and do one for 2017, and that is what that series needs to do. It needs to have a break.
And the rumour is they're going to kick out Watch Dogs 2 in its place.
Oh, right. I don't know how I feel about Watch Dogs 2.
I mean, I had a really good time with Watch Dogs, and a couple of times.
I loved Watch Dogs, and I played it to death. And,
a lot of people slag it off,
I bought the season pass, and then that season pass story download thing came out, and I never played it.
Yeah, I mean, I think the problem with Watch Dogs was that, which I think is very similar to Assassin's Creed, actually, is once you've done the main storyline, there's not much there to make you want to continue, whereas Witcher 3, the side stories, I mean, I've played this game a ton, and I finished the main story like levels ago, and I did play a bit of DLC as well, but then even then, I went to Skellige and a few islands. I found whole monasteries and ruined this and hidden shit that I'd never even wandered over. So there's still value in. I was just playing.
This is the problem that they've got now with the Ubisoft template of games. Is that
and that's what it is. It's a cookie cutter, isn't it?
I finished Syndicate, and I have got a map full of icons. And do you know what I do? Closed the game, deleted it, put the disc in the box, and it's ready to trade in. I've got just literally thought, I'm not doing. I don't need to do any of that. That's just trophy hunting, and I don't want to do that.
Yeah, I must admit, I'm not a platinum, someone that gets off on platinum trophies, and I mean, because some of the bloody requirements of these platinum trophies are almost like pulling teeth. It's like, God, I'd rather get on and play a new game than wade through all this monotonous bullshit to try and get a fucking platinum trophy.
There's side quests in The Witcher 3 that have more story content in them than most games these days. I mean, some of those side quests are incredible.
Yeah.
But yeah, that's right. I'm not gonna go on. I bought Mad Max in the sale, and I really enjoyed it.
You did what? Sorry.
I bought Mad Max.
Oh yes, one of my favourite games of 2015.
Yeah, and I was really enjoying it, and I played it solidly for about a week, and I haven't gone back to it because I've been playing something else. So
yeah, well, you will.
It's on my list. It's on my list.
Isn't that a beautiful game in its own right? It's
amazing, and I tell you what, I'll upset a lot of people by saying this, but I prefer that kind of wasteland to what Fallout does. I don't like Fallout's wasteland.
I think people are starting to wake up now that the furore over Fallout's come out and realise that not only have they just done the same as the last one, but someone said to me, all the buildings looks like a movie set, like a Wild West town. The whole thing looks, and it doesn't give me that feeling. It all felt a bit disjointed, and the VATS thing just pissed me off,
Yeah.
I did give it a
I
go.
do know that, I mean, I've not played Fallout 4 at all. And at some point I may pick it up, but
yeah.
I'm not.
Well, it's cheap now.
Is it?
It's 30 quid.
No, I want it cheaper than that.
All right, you will, yeah, give it another few months.
£15.
Well, it will be.
It will be, yeah. And I mean, I hadn't even played it. I got Until Dawn.
Oh, yeah.
In one of the January sales.
Now you're talking.
At Shop 2, and with whatever discounts I had built up over time, I got it for £13.
That's a steal. Because I paid full price. Well, not full price, but I paid a reduced online price for it. And that game was fucking brilliant game, that is. And the graphics are stunning. You can hear the old PlayStation sort of fan going, whoa, you know, when the graphics have been, you know.
I'm going to play that after I've done The Witcher.
Oh, yeah. It's a good game. If you've got anyone to play with, like your missus or something, it'd be great. Because it is like a decision-based game, like who lives and who you want to die and all this sort of stuff, you know?
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, I'm looking forward to that.
Yeah.
But yeah, so that's really me over Christmas. I think that's all I did. Since going back to work, I've been rushing around and I haven't really had much time.
And we've all been ill, which is another reason for the delay in the podcast.
You were ill first, and then I was ill. So I'm not going to do any news today.
No,
because we want to get through this. We want to get through this list now. The original plan was to go through 50 or best 15 games of 2015.
Yeah,
and I'm just. We talked about this at length. We can reel through the list and maybe pick on a few of them, can't we? What we thought. So there's basically some you picked, some I picked, and some we agreed on. So
anyway, right. So moving on, top 15. You've got the list, presumably.
I've got the list in front of me.
Because you're prepared.
Apparently.
So in at number 15, in the best Jimmy Savile voice,
Lego Jurassic World. Number 15.
That was my choice. Had a great time with that. The amount of content they put in that game, you got Jurassic Park 1, 2, 3 and Jurassic World that you played through, all in Lego Land.
Oh, so it's the original trilogy as well, not just the...
It's not just Jurassic World, you get the whole freaking lot. And you've got all the completionist stuff that, to be honest with you, if you were going to try and collect every red brick and find where everything was, it's probably as deep as The Witcher. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I love the Lego games, and I think...
they did a great job with it.
Every time they pull one out, you think, it's kind of oversaturated. And then you sit and play it, and they're actually pretty good. I'm
very good fun. Great fun that game was. Good value.
I didn't get that one because I've been waiting for the Lego Avengers, which is out by the end of this month. And I'm looking forward to that one. Right, so... Also, I think you can also pick that up quite cheap at the moment. I think it's £24 in most supermarkets.
Oh, yeah. Right, so number 14.
Number 14, Grand Theft Auto 5. Now, you and I both picked this, and it is fair to say that it didn't come out on the PlayStation 4 in 2015. But the online heist mode did, and that's what got us back into GTA.
Well... I was getting into it about that time anyway because I bought it on PS3 and then I heard the PS4 was coming out, so I sold it straight away. Thought I'm not playing that. That's going to come out on PS4, and then they brought it out with the first-person mode and everything, and I had a great time with that. And then we did do some heists. It was a bit fiddly, wasn't it?
We did the first heist, which was fine.
Yeah.
And then we tried to do a 4-player heist, and that was just a complete shambles and a total debacle. But it was possibly still the most fun shambles I've had multiplayer gaming this year.
Yeah.
Because we were fucking awful.
Yeah, well, it's great. You're in this open world and
it doesn't help that when you're on the way to the heist, we had to stop at several times just to, smack a car into someone or I found out that you can use the water jet on a fire engine to spray people across the streets. That never grows old.
If they kick out GTA 5 for $19.99 digital download, I'm gonna get that because it's something that you could just dip into. But I played it all. I played all the story. I finished the story.
I dipped in over Christmas. Actually, I should say that to do the annual drive around the snow because they made it Christmas again. So
did they?
Snowed online.
Oh, right.
So all the cars were. That was quite cool.
They've been quite good at supporting that.
Really good.
It's been out a while, but they have been really good. And the really heist mode is, if you can get the people together and work out how to get on the same fucking server at the same time, that I thought was a little bit dicky. They still haven't really ironed it out.
Trying to get everybody in the same place at the same time once the heist update came out was a little bit. Yeah, there was some frustration there, but we had a good time. When it worked well, didn't it?
So, number 13?
Number 13, Dying Light.
Yes, very good game, yeah. And two of my 2016 things I'm looking forward to are the DLC for Dying Light, which is called The Following, where they've added cars and guns, and they've added a play area 1.5 times the size of the original game. God. But it's the best zombie game going, battering them over the head with clubs with nails in them and electrocuting them and running for your life at night time. It's the same as Dead Island, but just with parkour added. And the nighttime thing. So I think they've added enough. And the DLC, I bought, this is a good tip for you. If you want buy the season pass for 16 quid, you can get it from Amazon or Shop2 or something. You can still get it for 16 quid. You can then get The Following, which is included for a lower price. I think it's coming out for 20 quid, isn't it, or something?
Yeah.
And that's out in February, so check out some of the videos online. It looks great.
People actually, I noticed today, people are actually doing early access streams of The Following. And it does look really good.
Yeah,
really
the game is top notch game.
Yeah, that's what it's on my list of games to get.
And after the tutorial sort of bit at the beginning, first hour, you can then play the whole thing co-op. Jump in, jump out co-op. It's brilliant fun if you've got some mates and you're tooling around, smashing zombies' faces in with... and once you get cars and you can run them over and jump in the car and shoot them with a machine gun and... it's going to be great.
I think it's quite good because, there are still a lot of people out there still playing and talking about Dying Light. And you have to bear in mind that, really, that was one of the first games out last year.
Well, I was going to say, I only bought it over Christmas, but I agree with you. The fact is, this is another good reason for coming in late to the party sometimes because you get the benefit of not having to wait ages for the DLC. Yeah. Well, again, good value, just like CD Projekt Red. The guys that do the Dying Light, they're not ripping you off.
Cool. Right. Number 12 on the list.
Yeah.
Assassin's Creed Syndicate. Now, I've put this on, I'll just go over it a little bit. I know we've spoken about it before, but like I said before, it's the best Assassin's Creed, land-based Assassin's Creed since Brotherhood. It's brilliant. The gang dynamic works really well. The two new protagonists, the twins of Jacob and Evie, they're more interesting. They're actually probably the most interesting assassins in the series since Ezio. I really like those characters, and I wouldn't mind seeing another game with them in it. Because they were I really enjoyed that. London,
and they haven't ripped you off for the DLC either, Ubisoft, for the Ripper DLC either.
No, they've been very good. London looks incredible. Yeah, the one thing that Unity did well was make Paris look amazing, and the refinements they've made this year to that engine makes London absolutely fantastic. And the one thing about that game that surprised me, actually, there's two things that surprised me. One was the grappling hook. I was really not thinking that was going to be a good addition. I thought they'd literally just looked at Batman and stole it. And it's so much more than what Batman's grappling hook is. You can attach it between the sides of buildings and slide down the wire. So it changes the way you traverse in such a big way. And the other thing
could be one of my next games I play, actually.
I think the other thing that they added that I wasn't sure about was horse and carriage. I thought, oh my god, what are they doing? GTA on horses. But to be fair, it works fine. It probably has the most tasteless trophy of the year associated to it.
What's that, killing horses or something?
Yeah, killing horses
typical.
On carriages. And funny enough, the trophy is actually called What the Hell is Wrong with You?
Well, that's the French for you. They eat horses, so...
But, I like that. So then, number 11 on our list is another one that I put on, Broken Age, which PlayStation 4 version came out this year, episodes 1 and 2. Broken Age is the Tim Schafer.
I didn't know there's more than one episode then.
Oh no, so originally it was a Kickstarter game, and it was out on PC, and what they did was they did part 1.
Ah, okay.
And then this year, the day they released it on the PlayStation, part 2 came out for the PC owners. So us PlayStation owners got the whole game without having to wait.
And we got it on PlayStation Plus, despite your moanings about PlayStation Plus. So I've got that to download at some point, so I did stick it in my library, which I normally do. Tim
Schafer, if people don't know, he used to work for LucasArts. He's responsible for quite a lot of the old point-and-click adventure games that I love. Day of the Tentacle, Grim Fandango, Full Throttle, and this is his return to that genre.
So is it that good then, Broken Age?
It was really good.
Should I play it?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, I mean, you used to like the old LucasArts games.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, and it's a modern version of that. The art style in it's a bit wacky, but it's beautiful, and the storyline is cool. Plenty of humour in it, and plenty of really frustrating problems that probably have you reaching for a
good.
Walkthrough.
Sounds good.
But good game. Really good game. Right, number 10.
Yeah.
Everyone's Gone to the Rapture.
Yeah, I enjoyed that. I played that over a couple of sort of sessions, and very Quatermass, crossed with the Archers, as you said. A lot of people have raved about it. I wouldn't rave about it so much. It looks great, and it's basically it seems to be the thing these days. They call them walking simulators. Mm-hmm. Basically, you just walk around. You're not under any particular threat, but you then get like an animated storybook.
Yeah, I mean, it's like
story.
Being part of a drama, isn't it?
Yeah, with a bit of interaction.
Yeah.
Gone Home is a new one that's meant to be out on the PlayStation 4 this week. Actually, that got a lot of rave reviews as well.
Yeah. So. I loved Everyone Gone to Rapture. I just thought it was brilliant. I thought it captured I always get the county one. It's not Somerset, but
it's something that's one of the games that you think about after playing it. Yeah. It did stick with me.
Yeah, and I mean the ending. We're not going to talk about the ending because I don't really know what happened, but it was amazing and probably very thought-provoking. But yeah, I loved it. So that definitely deserves to be on this list.
Yeah, they did very, very, very well, the guys that made that. I think it was some college or something, some students or something, they made it.
Yeah. They made, it's the guys who made that made another famous one. I think was it Dear Esther.
It just goes to show that the indie games can still compete with the big boys.
Absolutely. Right, number 9 on the list. It's one of yours.
Go on.
Until Dawn.
Yes, top-notch game. I love horror films. I make horror films. So it's like your traditional slasher film, but unlike sort of in their vein of Heavy Rain, but it's got some top-notch acting talent, which are like Hayden Panettiere and the guy who's in iRobot. He was in it, and it's one of these games. What I like about it is that everyone can die, everyone can survive, or any combination there in between. There's some QTE events, quick time events. The best one I thought, which is really quite spooky, because this was originally going to be a move game, was the bit where it tells you to stand still.
Yes.
And you're not allowed to move the controller one bit, otherwise something nasty can happen. And I did replay it a few times, but I did complete it, and I ended up with 2 people. I think I had 3 deaths in my one. And there's some great characters, some real bitches and some real arseholes in it that you might want to see die. I did guess some of the story, but great game. Looks fantastic. One of the best looking games of the year.
I have to say that I have played Prologue.
Yeah.
And that's as far as I got. I've taken it out. I'm not going to play it now until I've got more time.
It looks great.
But I got to a point in that game where I instantly realised this game, no wonder people are raving about this game, because I didn't know that the psychiatrist that analyses you is Peter Stormare.
Yeah.
Who's just amazing. And he's brilliant in that game.
I'll tell you what, that game made me jump about 4 times as well. Real proper jump scares in it. So.
And also, I like the fact that, I've not played it yet, but I've heard that answers you give and the way certain actions you take not only change the way the gameplay, the survival of the kids, but it's also going to change the person who's hunting you.
I'm not so sure about that. But
there's bits where it's sort of like the psychiatrist is saying to you, well, what would scare you more, this or this?
Yeah, that's all a bit bizarre and twisted, which is quite good.
Well, I've got no way of confirming this, but I've heard from people on the internet saying that is tailoring what kind of jump scares to give you.
I suspected as much. I don't know whether it did, but if you decide to leave a baseball bat instead of picking it up, that could prove fatal to one person or the other later on in the story. So, yeah,
I can't believe
10 out of 10 game for me. That one, that's a fantastic game.
I can't believe now that what we're looking at is people on YouTube gaming all the time streaming speed runs of Until Dawn.
Well,
and it's developed a speedrun community, and that's brilliant. I can't wait to get my teeth stuck into that.
Yeah.
Right.
Well-deserved place.
Number 8.
Mm-hmm.
Mad Max.
Yeah.
Now, I'm late to this.
And I finished that.
You've been all the way through it.
Mm-hmm. It's huge, isn't it?
It's a huge game. It's really well done. It
gives you plenty to do, doesn't it?
The one thing I would say to people who haven't played Mad Max is don't go into it expecting Fury Road.
It's more like Road Warrior with elements of Fury
like
Road.
The original Mad Max.
Yeah, which I think was a good call, really.
Yeah, absolutely. And I've done a couple of convoy missions, and I think that's the most Mad Max moments, isn't it? Where you're sort of chasing after a fleet of cars and smacking people off the car, and
you see the dust trails in the distance, and you're hacking after
people
them.
By the dust trails you can see miles away. It's a fantastic game.
When it came out along with MGS5 at the same time, everyone was saying, "Why are you buying that as well?" And there's just something about it that I thought that, you know what, I think that's going to be good. I said before, the combat, once you've leveled Max up a bit more, the combat makes sense. Early on, you feel a little bit underpowered and it's not all gelling or working properly. That's because of the way they designed it. They designed the fact that you can't counter or block everything early on because you haven't leveled yourself up.
So the thing I was saying, the reason I was worried about, not worried, but just like, they set themselves a release date and it came out the same day as MGS5, and it wasn't, well, why have you done that? That's stupid. I was just like, this game looks, I knew at the time, from the trailers and gameplay, this game looks like it could be really, really good, and it's not going to get the fair go that it probably deserves because everyone's off playing Metal Gear.
I think a lot of people have picked up on it since, though.
I'm really pleased that I picked it up in the sale over Christmas. And, another
23 quid you can get it for now.
Yeah. No, just really good game.
The world, see again, all these open worlds, the Fallout 4 discussion we were having, it was like, it didn't feel like a cohesive world to me for what I played, whereas Mad Max and The Witcher 3 and such, like, it feels, or GTA, you feel like you're in a living, breathing environment, whatever that may be, and that's what I lose myself in. you know.
The problem I've got, and I mean this is why, I think Mad Max was really good, is that to me, the world of Fallout is a post-apocalyptic world, and to me, it seems too populated.
Yeah. Oh yeah, when you go in Mad Max, and
you do
feel desolate.
You do feel like there's nothing between you and the next settlement. There's just nothing. If you wander across something, it's usually dead bodies next to a car or some bandits, or and it has that desolate feeling that I want out of a wasteland. Which
you would initially think, oh, that would be boring. It's just a load of sand plains, but I think that's one of the most beautiful looking games absolutely. Going. It's incredible, isn't it? Mm. The variation they managed to dial into all of
that. They've got rid of the Ubisoft mechanic of climbing a tower to see the world, and they introduced a balloon,
which is great, isn't it?
Which is
like a little puzzle,
it's
isn't it?
Because it goes so slow. But when you get up there, to be able to then use your binoculars to actually point to something and then identify it.
Yeah,
it makes you more involved in the process, and it makes you more inclined to go to where you've just found.
Well, they're also fast travel points as well, which are very useful. So yeah, Mad Max, brilliant game.
So, next one on the list, number 7. We're getting there.
Yeah.
Star Wars Battlefront. It's mine. I had to put it on the list.
It's yours. I
It's
really
just
don't think that game is all it's cracked up to be. I'm sorry.
It's, for me, for the Star Wars fanboy that I am, and the person that doesn't play COD, doesn't play Battlefield.
Well, obviously, if you're ejaculating at the same time as playing, then it would make you feel better, wouldn't it?
I played with Paul the other night. We had a game together, and we joined in a party together. It's the first time I joined with someone. And we played some of the mission modes.
Oh yeah.
Not the multiplayer, but actually just mission modes. And you go head to head. And he's Luke Skywalker, I'm Luke Skywalker, and he's Darth Vader, and we're smacking the shit. It was brilliant. And then we were just laughing our heads off. Because we're both Star Wars, massive Star Wars fanboys. Yeah. But that game, for me, as a Star Wars game, it's great. It's not the best.
It looked incredible.
It's not the best.
I'll give it that. It looked incredible.
It's the best looking game this year. I think it's
personally
incredible.
Multiplayer only is just not enough for me when I buy a game.
And I think there was there's a conversation about Battlefront and the very blatant £40 season pass to get.
Yeah.
But it's nothing new. It's what EA have done with Battlefield before. They just call it premium.
Question. Are you going to spend 40 quid on their DLC maps?
Yes.
Because if your mate hasn't got them, then you're fucked.
Well, I probably will.
Good.
I probably will. But I've not gone and bought the season pass straight away because, of course, they've not revealed any details.
No.
And that's the important bit. I want to know what these packs are going to include.
There's no reason to buy it now, is there? It's not as though it's cheap.
No. I mean, I'm still regularly playing Battlefront now. It's a great game for me.
It's a jump in, jump out thing, isn't it?
Yeah, if I've got half an hour at 10 o'clock at night, I will jump on and have a couple of games and just enjoy myself in the Star Wars universe. Brilliant.
Yeah.
Absolutely brilliant.
Fair enough.
So, I do love that game.
Everyone is entitled to their opinion.
Right. Now, number 6. I put this on.
All right.
And you bought it recently, and I'm interested to hear what you think.
Yeah.
Number 6 is Bloodborne. Have you played much of it yet?
I can't even get past the first bloke, and I got pissed off and turned it off. So I will have to come back to it. The werewolf.
What, in the house at the beginning?
Yeah.
You're not meant to.
Oh, aren't you?
No, you're not meant to get past him. You're meant to...
What are you meant to do?
Die. And then you go to the...
graveyard outside.
And then you pick up all your weapons, and then you go back and fuck him up.
Pick up what weapon? Oh, okay.
Well, I've already investigate that area. Oh dear, this is going to be a good conversation then. Well, I mean, Bloodborne...
I've got it on digital, so I will play it at some point. I'm sure it's going to be good, but as I said, I fell up the first fucking hurdle.
You don't want me to tell you this, but I think it's actually gone down to £25 this week. digitally.
Oh, fuck it, I don't care.
But Bloodborne, for me, was one of the highlights this year because I have dabbled in the Souls games for a long time and I am not very good at them. I will admit that. I'm not great. I always get to a point where I can't get any further and I just go, well, that's it, I'm done. I have not finished Bloodborne. I think I may have got maybe halfway through.
Alright. Well, there's hope for me yet then.
And I'm happy with that. I'm really happy with that. I've essentially played one of this guy's games and I've got almost halfway through it, so I'm happy with that.
We must be so shit putting everything on easy.
I was really worried because Bloodborne, a lot of people weren't happy about the shield being taken away, got it replaced with a gun. Yeah. But my God, the combat mechanic in Bloodborne worked so well, and the thing that kept driving me forward, I think, was also the visual aesthetic.
I've heard the art direction is amazing.
It's just such a gothic, awful, bloody place, and it's brilliant.
Cool.
Absolutely brilliant. So
I will have to weigh in with my opinion later on once I've actually got past that fucking world.
And I mean Bloodborne, I know they've now got a DLC out for it as well.
Well, I got the Game of the Year edition.
It would be something digital. I probably would go back to. So, maybe when it's cheaper, I might pick it up again and see if I can finish it off. But really good game. Really good game, and
some people's number one apparently as well.
Yes, yeah, no, I can see that as well. I mean, I can see it being some people's number ones. Had I gone through and finished it, it might be a different story. But I didn't get all the way through it.
Well, I got a little way to Demon's Souls, so I just think that I'm just not giving it any time.
I found Demon's Souls quite impenetrable. I found Dark Souls less so, but I just wasn't on the right platform at the time. Dark Souls 2 came out just as I was switching from PS3 to PS4, so I never really played it.
Yeah. There's Demon's Souls 3 or something out
Dark
soon,
Souls
isn't
3
there?
is out this year,
Yeah. Okay, what's next?
Right, well, I'm going to shut up now.
Yeah, let me guess.
Number
is number 5?
Is Yakuza
5. Well,
I would like to point out that when we discussed this list, I've got a quote of yours here.
Yeah.
And it says 42 hours in and it's just the best ever. Now, I don't even think that's even relevant now because I'm sure you're not 42 hours in at all.
No, well, I finished it. But I've still got tons of side quests and best game released on the PS3 last year and one of the best games of 2015.
That's a fair point. I keep forgetting it. Of course, this is a PlayStation 3 game.
Yeah. And they did a great job on the conversion, and the game has got so much variety, so many off-the-wall bits of story. The story is really good. The J-pop stuff, where you're going to be a J-idol doing dance battles in the streets with like a rhythm and action game. Talk about tense. When I was in this competition, I got this little girl who was dancing, and I just wanted to win the competition and beat these bitches that she's up against. And talk about pressure, I had it on like normal difficulty, and you make a few fuck ups on the button presses, and you're out. You really need to know where the circle, triangle, square, and X is on your controller. You really do. But that game is as deep as the ocean. That game has got so much that I can just go back, and whenever I'm feeling the mood, I'm just going to bury myself in that game. It's just unique. It's totally unique, and if you've never played it, I think it's a Marmite game. I think people are going to love it or they're going to absolutely hate it.
Now, this year, 2015, was the first Yakuza game I'd ever played. Because I'm thinking of Yakuza
4
on PlayStation Plus, and I got 3/4 of the way through that, and I have to admit, it's a good game. I liked Yakuza 4, and I can see myself playing Yakuza 5 eventually.
Well, they've improved the graphics engine, and you've got like 4 or 5 cities. They've expanded the scope. Each character sort of focuses in one bit. One bit goes out into the wilds where you end up. There's a hunting game. There's just so much. There's just so much to that game. And I need to make a correction. It hasn't got Space Harrier or Super Hang-On as a playable arcade game, that will be in Yakuza 0, which is a PS4 game that will be released maybe this year, maybe next year, probably next year, but maybe this year, because they announced they're going to localise it before they even sold Yakuza 5. And from what I've seen on the PlayStation Store, it has been selling really well. And for a last-gen console, that's good going. You know?
And that's what you want as well, isn't it? I mean, yeah, because how this sells determines whether or not they go through the localization process for the next one.
It's a niche game. It's like if you say to someone, have you played Persona 5? Or Persona Golden, rather. Mm. And they go, what are you talking about? Danganronpa, or whatever it's called. If you like your Japanese games, this is a no-brainer. If you're just like, fuck it, I just like Call of Duty, then don't bother, mate. You know.
The way I felt about Yakuza 4 was it appealed to two parts of my sort of retro gaming addiction. But one part of it was...
what are you doing? You're walking around?
Yeah, sorry. Hang on, I'll cut this bit out. Right. So one part of it was one part of it appealed to my Streets of Rage 2 requirement in the fighting engine, and the other part of it was the Shenmue side of sort of like quirky city exploration, shops full of stuff you can buy for no reason. But yeah, no, I really like 4. I'm pleased that you 5 is out there at last. Yeah. Because it did come out in Japan like in 2012, didn't it?
Oh, yeah.
So, it's taken 3 years to get here, but...
It takes a year to localise one of those games, because there is a ton of text. Mm. Although what I did notice playing Yakuza 5 was that there was a lot more that was spoken as well as text this time. They sort of cut down, they sort of doubled the amount of spoken text. So when you're having conversations, it's not just click, 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 click through to the next bit of text. It's actually that you actually hear them, albeit they're talking in Japanese, but you get the full characterization of the actors when it's in the native language. If you get it sort of dubbed by actors, it just would not be the same.
No, I wouldn't want to play a dubbed version of Yakuza. That seems wrong.
And some news is that I think this week or next week they're releasing Yakuza Iwami or something, and what that is a redux of Yakuza 1, which is a great story from what I've seen. Right. And it's HD PS4'd up, and it comes with a free demo of Yakuza 6, the sequel to number 5. So I'm looking forward to 0 coming out and being sold or put in front of 35, 36, maybe 40 million PS4 users. You know, if they do that and only a small percentage buy the game, then it's going to sell, 500,000 copies.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Which is what it sells in Japan.
Yeah. Well.
And that's good news for me. And even though each Yakuza game, everyone says, oh, it's the same as the last one. Yeah, the framework is the same. But it's a bit, the way I compare it is that it's a bit like Call of Duty. You know what you're getting. You're getting a different sort of story, but you're getting new graphics and you're getting slightly different twist on what you've seen before. But the story is great. If you like Japanese gangster stories or Japanese or Oriental films where they have really interesting characters and twisted plots. I mean, this plot was so twisted. It was twisty and twisted. It was great.
But it's one that, it's a typically Japanese developed game. They're not trying to rush one out every year. They release them.
Yeah.
And
it's an annual franchise.
It's the same game, but they're improving the scope of it.
They refine the shit out of it. And the one Yakuza 0 is set back in the 80s, so they've got dance games with like disco dancing and stuff. It's so hilarious. But you go 1 minute, some really hilarious scenario. Next minute, you're actually scraping someone's face along the road and blood's pissing out everywhere and you're beating the crap out of them, breaking their arms and stuff. And then you're going back to, walking around this city. And the cities do feel alive, because it's all pedestrian based and not car based. You're running around and like a JRPG. It is a JRPG as well because you have character development and you have battles a bit like Final Fantasy, you're going along and there's a battle and it commences. Instead of having something where you just got numbers flying over the screen, you've got this brilliantly executed fight system that, as you upgrade, gets more and more deep. I mean, you can then start doing really, really special moves. And if you like kung fu and beating the crap out of people, it ticks all the boxes for me.
I think I've just realised, just thinking about it, is that I suppose now that I played one Yakuza game, I can now kind of appreciate what Sleeping Dogs was trying to do.
Yeah, Sleeping Dogs is a great game.
That's the Western version of Yakuza.
Well, Yakuza is a spiritual successor to Shenmue, which sort of mixes the mundane with a really good story. In fact, I mean, from what I remember of Shenmue, this is leagues above. It's carved its own niche, and it's you just need to stop me talking about it because I can't speak highly of this game series.
Yeah, it's not a Yakuza podcast, is it?
No. Next one, number 4.
Right, well, I could go on about this one for a while, so it could be just as bad. Number 4 for me was Batman Arkham Knight. For me, I know what you're going to say, and I mean,
I love the Batman games.
There's a lot of people out there who did not have a good time with this game.
PC owners didn't have a good time with it, did they?
PC owners probably haven't had a good time with it at all. Because they've not been able to buy it. It was so fucked up. But us lucky console owners, and
it looked beautiful, didn't it?
I tell you what, there was a certain smugness that I've had this year about having a game that worked on my lowly console that didn't work on your master race PC. And I know it's cheap and I shouldn't feel like that way, but I did.
Well, I've been both gamers, and do you know what? I'm not going to spend 2 hours just trying to fuck around with a setup on my computer, check what processor I got, will it run it, will it not run it, what detail, can I have anti-aliasing on, can I do this? You know, take your fucking raincoats off and kick back on your sofa and just play on a console. Well,
Batman Arkham Knight, I would like to point out, this is the game that I pre-ordered the day pre-orders were available. I didn't actually own a next generation console at the time of me pre-ordering it.
Yeah, well, who would?
I knew that this would be the game that I would get a PlayStation 4 for. That's the end of it. Luckily, I didn't have to wait that long.
No.
But for me, Arkham Knight was the game I wanted it to be. I really enjoyed my time with Arkham Knight. I went through, I did the whole lot. I got the Nightfall ending. I did every Riddler trophy. I enjoyed the hell of that.
Bastard.
I don't know what it is about Rocksteady. In particular, Rocksteady's games. I mean, I've played Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, played them through 2 or 3 times.
Yeah. I did too.
I'm looking forward to this game. I know the thing that everyone's going to throw in your face is the Batmobile suit.
Oh, the tank thing. Oh my God.
It was bad. It was,
do you know what? That's the thing that pisses me off the most, is that the game is fabulous. And it just got to this point where I had all these fucking tanks trying to kill me, trolling around the streets. I just wanted to get on with the Batman detective shit and beating them up. I didn't want to fuck around for hours and then just lose at the last bit where I only had 2 to go and I got killed. I'm like,
you're lucky.
Fucking dicks.
At the end of the game, when they started chucking 20 or 30 tanks at you at a time, that was annoying. But some of the Riddler puzzles that required you to use the Batmobile's grappling hook.
Oh, that was good.
Oh no, some of them were bloody awful.
Oh, well, all I can say,
timing.
The only downer is that bit where they overused the tank thing just because you had a fucking Batmobile. Jumping in and out, the game is brilliant. Although it deserves to be up there. But
I will say, there is one thing about the Batmobile that just never stopped being cool, and that was standing on the top of the tallest skyscraper and hitting the Batmobile and just diving through the rain just into the Batmobile. That was always awesome.
Again, if it comes out 15, 20 quid digital, I'll probably get it again.
I know a lot of people haven't been too enamoured with the DLC, and I know that was also the first big season pass that was 40 quid, and people were not happy
about
that.
Was it that much?
Yeah.
Jesus.
But for me,
steady, more like.
Arkham Knight, it was the end of those games that I wanted. Joker was back in it. I love the way they brought Joker into it.
Yeah, it's very good.
Apart from anything else, that game looked like a damn movie. I mean, bearing in mind that the month before, The Witcher came out, and I was sat there playing it going, I don't think games could ever look as good as this ever again. I think this is amazing.
Yeah.
And a month later, Arkham Knight came out, and I thought, wow, this looks better than The Witcher.
I would not.
It was on a much smaller scale. No. You go back and look at some of those character models in the rain, and the way the rain goes off his cape, and just the whole the whole atmosphere of it.
Calm down.
The neon. It was just
the way it goes off of his breastplate and down to his crotch. The rain bouncing off his knob. Yeah.
No, I love
the way the rain goes down the crack of his arse is just phenomenal.
At least there was a good Catwoman model in there as well. And
that's true.
Batgirl was a download, but anyway.
I agree with you. It deserves a high place, but it did fuck me off.
I'm also pleased that Rocksteady aren't going to make another Batman game. And I'm really excited for whatever they go and do next, as long as it's not a Superman game.
And as long as I'm sure the PC owners are not looking forward to any of it.
Really
How could they let that happen? I mean,
and still, but no,
Jesus,
no, still not working.
I know, I heard.
Still now, not working.
How could they totally trash a whole format release of a massive game like that? That must have cost them fucking millions.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And Batman's that series has had really good PC ports always.
Warner Brothers release some good games, don't they?
Mm-hmm. See, but Warner Brothers, funny enough, keeping an ear to the ground, that Warner Brothers PC ports haven't had a good year.
Yeah.
Because Mortal Kombat X didn't really work properly for the first 24 hours.
We'll need to come back to that at the end of the podcast as well. Okay, next game.
Oh,
top 3. This is the
top 3. So top 3 games. Top 3 games for the year. Number 3. This will be really quick, really simple, because we haven't got a lot to say about this game.
Yeah.
It's Destiny: The Taken King.
Yeah. It deserves it. It deserves it. What I sunk, including Destiny 1, over 650 hours into that. So there was something about it that was good. I'm a bit disappointed that I'm sort of, I'm left with the feeling of I'd certainly had my money's worth, but I'm glad I'm out of it.
Can I just read your quote? Because I got your quote for more discussion. Destiny is in the top 3 as I've played tons of it, but I resent it for taking me away from other brilliant titles. And I do resent that game as it falsely has led me along with big promises, but just ended up using me like a cheap rent boy.
I think that sounds like something I'd say.
That does sound like something you said.
Okay, no.
But yeah, I mean, once again, you and I, we've recorded 2 episodes, and a missing episode, which actually had us slagging off Destiny once again over paid booster packs, 25 quid each. But we're not going to go into there.
25 quid just so you can level up some other monkey character, so you can get him up to level 25. Come on, Activision, stop tearing our arseholes wide open, will you?
If you want people to do that, why have you only got 3 character slots?
Yeah.
Give people 6.
It's not very good thinking, is it?
Anyway, enough of that.
Let's just not get on to the Destiny, because it's been brilliant while it lasted. Brilliant while it's lasted, let's say.
And I didn't think I would, and I enjoy the changes that they made for year 2 to the whole structure and the quest system.
It dragged me back in, I fully admit it. I'm an alcoholic, I admit it.
I thought the storyline, the missions were a lot better. Everything about the Taken King was so good until you finished the Taken King and then just went, What now?
Yeah, and I do think that 40 quid for the upgrade was a fucking
that was bad.
Con.
That was bad. But I would like to point out, and I do think it's very, very fair, that I know we've said a lot of bad things about the Taken King in previous podcasts, and I would like to point out that every single problem that I have with the Taken King and Destiny at the moment, I don't think a lot of it I could aim it at. I couldn't aim it at Bungie. I could aim it at Activision.
Yeah,
you know,
and interestingly enough, I think this is the thing they've got. They've got this sort of thing that they've set up with sort of the end game is the raid, right? Which you need 6 players, and it doesn't do matchmaking for 6 players, which I think they could turn on once the raid's been done initially. If they did matchmaking for those people that wanted to do it, then it encourages people to try and work together, and if you don't get through it, then you don't get through it. It gives a fuck.
No.
Just have matchmaking, because
I think the
then at least someone's going to experience some of the raid.
Yeah, they built up, and I mean, for many people a lot younger than me who have time on their hands, I'm sure that raiding is something they can do very often. But
the thing is, it's a rinse and repeat thing, isn't it?
Yeah, we did the Vault and Glass. It took us, I think, 2 attempts to go through it. And then
it's some of the best multiplayer gaming I've ever had, and I've said that.
It was really good. It was really enjoyable, and I came out of the Vault and Glass and just thought, well, I've done that. I don't really want to do that ever again.
Yeah. Well, let's move on. We've said enough. It's really good. And if you love playing it,
Destiny deserves to be on this list, and it deserves to be this high up, because
absolutely,
every time something's happened in that game, I've dipped back in. I hate to admit it, it's not installed on my system anymore, but that
I deleted it as well, but it doesn't matter. Your save or your character's held online anyway on the cloud.
That disc is up there, and if they announce a live event that piques my interest, it'll be back in. I know it will. Not Sparrow Racing, but something better than that.
Yeah, I mean, the problem is the main story, of which there was non-existent, didn't fulfill. I mean, let's just stop, because it gave me tons. I have had tons of value for money out of that game.
Yeah, right.
I'm glad I'm out of it.
So we're down to the last 2.
Mm-hmm.
We're doing quite well for time as well, so we're powering through this.
We are powering through this. Okay.
Number 2, The Witcher 3 Wild Hunt.
Absolutely. In fact, I'd almost, now I've played it, because I said Witcher 3 before I'd really got back into it and got it at Christmas.
I think it's hard.
Phenomenal game.
I think it's hard to. Part of me wants this to be higher, but
no, I'm happy with
I am happy with it. There's 2 games, or top 2 games. They are so good in different ways, and both of them are outstanding from the rest of anything else that came out in 2015.
I think you need to look at what did this game bring to the table in terms of game-changing stuff. And Witcher 3's game-changing stuff, this is the thing. If you're on Skellige or one of the islands and you see a mountain range miles away, if you walk long enough, you can then get to that mountain range, climb the mountain and see just as far over the other side, and keep walking and you'll still get there. Yeah. It's seamless.
Yeah.
And it looks incredible.
The main thing that The Witcher 3 has done for me is it's the story. It's all about the story. It's all about the side quests. Some of the writing in that game is incredible. How they've made side quests, and I mean, this is very early on in the game.
This is the thing, I think, the innovation part. They've made side quests worth doing, not just fetch quests like fucking Ubisoft.
Even GTA's missions are repetitive, and The Witcher 3 has done something that needed to be done. There's a very early quest in the game where you're told to go and clear a well.
Yeah.
And how that story pans out, I never expected that simple little just go over there and sort that monster out quest to turn into something as complex and also almost quite emotional. because it ends up, you end up finding that a young married couple, the landowner came and murdered him in front of her, and then they hung her down the well, and she basically rotted there until she fell into the water below, and it's a really terrible story.
It's the detail they go into, isn't it?
And that's the other thing I like about it's not I can't really The Witcher 3, but also The Witcher world, is that it's a very real world, isn't it? I mean, there's not a lot of good people.
Well, it's mature as well, which is nice to play a game that isn't
proper high fantasy stuff, isn't it? There's not sugar-coated.
Good sex scenes in it as well.
Yeah, there's that as well.
I nailed someone else the other day, actually. Some bird that I beat in a sword fight, and I got to do her in her cabin after dark as well, which is great. And you get a new one also in the DLC.
I get new bonks.
New mo-capped sex scenes,
yeah. I just did the one with the unicorn, and that's just sort of like.
Wait till you see the one in the boat.
But I mean, I've been a big fan of the Witcher series. I've played them on PC in previous years. Yeah. And this is the game that I wanted it to be. And what I was telling this to you the other day is that Dragon Age Inquisition, when that came out, I really wanted a fantasy game in my life. I really wanted that kind of game. And
I've bought that. Actually,
I know.
And I decided to be a mage because with ranged attacks, it's a bit like Mass Effect. You're shooting with like a laser beam instead of like getting in. So I think that I'm going to start getting into that as well.
I played Dragon Age Inquisition, and very soon into that game, I suddenly realised this isn't what I was looking for.
Yeah,
this isn't the kind of fantasy adventure I wanted.
Yeah,
that game, Witcher 3. That's what I was looking for a long time, and it's very fair to say that yes, it's Red Dead Redemption with swords. That's not a bad thing. And that's an amazing thing.
The thing is, it's so easy in the early stages of an RPG to just go meh and just drop it.
And
I think some games need persistence, and I do think Inquisition will prove it's a brilliant game because it's from BioWare. I just need to grit my teeth and stick with it.
Yeah. I think the other thing is, of course, how the hell does CD Projekt Red make a game world that vast that
and varied,
but you never feel overwhelmed by the size of the world?
No, I mean,
you just.
I heard they had 2,000 people working on that game.
Yeah. And the other thing is, the other reason why it belongs up here, first game with dynamic beard growth. Brilliant.
Oh yeah.
Just awesome. I like that feature. I don't know why.
Well, not only that, the graphics are stunning.
Yeah.
It may only be 30 frames a second and drop occasionally, but what it's putting on display is incredible, and it looks. I was just find myself looking at the sunsets and stuff. Just looking, you crest a mountain top covered with snow, and you can just look into the distance and see where you're meant to go.
It's one of those games. One of the great features of The Witcher is the meditate ability.
Yeah.
Which is kind of weird. When I first played it, when it came back in May, I was literally going places and going, wow, this is a really pretty place. I wonder what it'll look like at night, think.
Well, I didn't do that. I just meditate to replenish my health. And
even now, that game still blows me away when you're riding through a storm on Skellige and the trees are smacking around.
Well, my end game actually is I just run everywhere now. I don't bother with the fucking horse. I just run just to see what I'm going to run into and what I'm going to discover. And I've discovered elven ruins and dark caves with horrible fucking spiders in them and stuff.
I would say to anyone who's listening to this, who's not played The Witcher 3, do yourself a favour. It's 24 quid for most supermarkets now. Pick it up.
Or you can download it from the store for $24.99.
Buy it. Put the game difficulty on just the story mode. Put it on easy, and just enjoy it, because it's brilliant. I mean, there's some fantastic storylines in that. Some really, really
twisted
stuff. Notably the Bloody Baron quest, which I think you had ended a different way to me. I had it end in the most tragic possible way.
Well, that's the interesting thing. I don't think they made enough of it. Is that it's got the BioWare thing combined with the Until Dawn thing, where you can choose people's fates sometimes.
Yeah, and I mean, I like the fact that because Geralt is a Witcher and he's meant to be neutral. You go into some of these missions, some of these quest lines, trying to do the good thing, and that's what I was trying to do in the Bloody Baron, was trying to be the good person and trying to rescue everyone, and I actually ended up making everything worse, and ended up with people hanging themselves on trees.
It's such a pervading sense of doom, isn't it? The whole place is war-torn, isn't it? It's like misery. The music, by the way, I must say, when you go on Skellige, is absolutely beautiful. I haven't got the CD. It's beautiful, the music.
That was, that's the other thing we were talking about the other day when we were talking about this on PlayStation Network. It's amazing. It's very clever what they've done, is that they've set a game in the middle of a war.
Yeah.
But you don't see it.
Yeah, you see the aftermath.
You see the aftermath of the war, and the villagers who are now been taken over by an invading army, and they're all pissed off. And there's that very early in the first area, isn't it? The very first area, the White Orchard. There's the fight going on in the pub because they're replacing the flag in the pub to the new armies, and some bloke's not happy. And it's a really clever way of getting you involved in a world. So.
Do you remember that bloke that you meet in the pub who seemed to know more than he should do? Did you talk to him?
Yeah.
Yeah, well, he comes back in the DLC.
Oh, really?
In a big way.
That's right.
He's not who you think he is.
Hmm.
Worth getting Hearts of Stone DLC to see how that plays out.
Funny enough, it's one of the things, I bought it, pre-ordered it, got it for a good price, pre-ordered it, it downloaded automatically, told me I was ready to play it, I loaded up the game and it went, you need to be level 32. I went,
oh, I know that, you need to be level
32. At the time.
Well, they expect you to finish the main game first.
Not a problem, I'm almost there, I'm almost well.
The only caveat to that, which is a bit of a downer, is that when you finish the game, certain things happen, and the game concludes. Okay, the game finishes. When you then continue the game, a bit like Yakuza, when you finish the main game, you can then get free roam, if you like, and do all the shit that you didn't do. Side quests, and it sort of puts you at a stage before all that shit went down.
Right.
So you don't actually feel like you're continuing the game from where you left off at the end of the game. You'll sort of drop back a few steps, so you're put back in time a bit. And that's my only complaint with the game, is that it would be nice for them to conclude the game, and whoever you end up going off, whatever, I don't want to say too much, but something happens, and it'd be nice for you to say, I've come back from wherever I went off to, and I'm going to continue being a Witcher.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, you'll see when you finish it. That's my only complaint. It's a very small complaint, because I'm still playing it. I'm level 40 now, and then I saw this sword, and I thought, I'm really high now, and then I saw this sword and said, you can craft this brilliant sword that will be a little bit more powerful than the one you got, but you need to be level 47. I'm like, oh, for God's sake.
Oh, wow.
But I've worked my way up to 40, because I'm hoping that when the DLC comes out, you might have to be level, I don't know, 35 or 36 minimum. I want to be at their level.
And that new DLC is an entirely new area, whereas Hearts of Stone takes place in existing areas. This is an entirely new area based on sort of like the Italian vineyards or
well, it's meant to be a place that wasn't actually affected by the war, but there's a dark secret in the underbelly of this society, and it's a 20-hour expansion. That's more than some full retail games, and I think the DLC pass is £20. and you get Hearts of Stone, which is a 10-hour campaign, and you get this other one, Blood and Wine, which is 20 hours. That's going to be coming out in the next few months. Top notch. I just can't wait to play that. So I might just still dip into The Witcher just every now and again. As I said, because it's digital, it's on my PS4. I can just quickly click it, go in while someone's doing the tea or whatever, and check out a few question marks that I haven't. Oh yeah.
Right. So this is it. This is the top
drum roll again. Number one.
Metal Gear Solid 5. The Phantom Pain.
Yes, I've not finished this game, and I need to go back to it. I've only done about 20 of the 70 missions because I was doing side ops. But basically, this game is my number one game because the innovation of what Kojima did, and a lot of hardcore MGS fans, lost out a bit of this extra story. Even though everyone was saying to Kojima, "Oh, the story's too fucking complex. We don't want to sit there for a 5-hour cutscene. We want more gameplay." Well, he gave people what they want, and then they still complain.
Yeah.
But he created, for me, the ultimate sandbox world. You get dropped in on a helicopter, and you can do your mission however you want. Stealth, loud, whatever, with all the resources and buddies and things like that you want to employ in that game, and the way that you could just approach a tactical situation felt very realistic to me, even though it's not realistic. And I would go in stealth to try and exfiltrate some bloke, and then someone would spot me, and it would all go to shit, and I'd still come out at the end. It's exhilarating. That game. That game made me feel exhilarated.
The whole thing about, and the reason why it's top of my list, neither of us have finished it. I don't think I've not got up to a point where you've unlocked forward operating bases.
I haven't either. No, I'm getting close.
That's the point. You're playing this game that even 20, 30 hours into it, it's not giving you everything. It's still dishing out things. I think the last thing that I did on that game, it unlocked weapon customization, so I could make my own guns.
I've got a sniper that's silenced that doesn't kill.
Well, that's what I've given Quiet now. I've got Quiet is now on a silenced sniper rifle, which is good. And
forget all the sexism. I think she looks great.
Yeah, I mean the thing about there's a big furore over her character and the female
boobs and
personification of the two characters in the game, and for a Western audience, I can see it being a problem. I can see that that is a big deal this year. Feminism and the way female portrayal in video games and everything. It's a conversation that needs to be had. But at the same time, I can't expect a game to come out of Japan which seems to have Japanese sexualization in it.
Well, it's part of the cultural thing that I like about Japanese games is the way they objectify women.
That's comes to the way some of those Japanese games. Yeah, you've got games that are literally about looking up schoolgirls' skirts. And
well, it's not that bad, is it?
Tame compared to that.
Yeah.
But
anyway, getting back to the main thing, I thought the graphics engine, because I played Metal Gear Ground Zeroes for hours in prep of this game.
Yeah.
And that was great. I mean, I tried to play that different missions, or same missions, all different ways, and I knew that base like the back of my hand, and this game just throws it open. It's massive.
I mean, there's two areas that to that game. There's Afghanistan and Africa.
And there's the base building thing.
Oh, of course, yeah. And every single area is beautiful. And let's get it. I mean, the game itself. Kojima has always made Metal Gears, and they've always been a little bit wacky. They've been kind of based in real world, but they've always been batshit insane.
They've been more like an action film.
They've been more batshit insane than realistic.
Yeah.
And all of a sudden, you've got this game that is possibly one of the most realistic military stealth games I've ever played.
Absolutely.
I mean, and to the point where you're literally spotting enemies, planning routes into bases and from afar, from across a ridge, and plotting and planning. And then once that all goes wrong, there's not a gameplay experience like it. When it all goes tits up, your
that's when I let off my C4s that I've placed on all their comms equipment. I spent hours just trawling around.
You knock out generators, turn the lights off.
I blow everything up.
Yeah, go for it.
Great confusion.
But it's the way that you talk to lots of people who have played Metal Gear Solid 5, and you talk about a certain mission, and it's amazing. If you talk to a group of people, each one of them will have a different story about how they tackled that mission and how it went. And that's brilliant.
And this is the thing for me. The reason it's number one is because he managed to create inside a computer, the mechanics and the reactions and the AI and all of the factors that go into that game. He's created a phenomenal battle simulator.
Yes.
The lone wolf, guy going in and using all the resources like a Rambo at his disposal.
The legend that man is meant to be.
Yeah. And I can't wait to get back into it. I think that's my next game that I'm going to pick up. And the thing people moaned about the story, but if you play the cassette tapes, which has got Kiefer Sutherland as Snake,
now
you can play them whilst you're playing the game.
Now, this is a very important point, and this is something I think a lot of people miss, is that yes, there aren't many cutscenes, but there are hours upon hours of these cassette tapes that you, not just ones you pick up, but every time you take a mission, there's more backstory added into your cassette library. Now, this is the thing that I don't feel a lot of people picked up on, is if you download the Phantom Pain Companion app on your iPad or your phone or your Android device or whatever, that synchronizes with your game save.
All right.
Which means that when you're away from the game, you can download and listen to all of those tapes without being in the game. And
podcast.
Literally, I was finding myself going to bed and listening to a couple more backstory ones between Revolver and Snake. And that's fantastic. It just involves you more in the world so much more. So I do think, where a lot of people are saying, yes, there's not a lot of story in your face, because in the past we've all criticised him for putting too much story in front of our faces all the time. He's hidden it away, and now people don't know it's there. But it's there, and if you take the time to listen to it, it's fantastic.
And there's so many quirky little things. It's like if you play the tape of someone having a shit whilst in the toilet, a guard will ignore you if you're hiding in the lavatory.
Yeah.
I mean,
you can actually
bizarre and
get a
brilliant
tape
is that?
Of a Russian soldier saying enemy down, or something like that. You play that over your speaker, and it'll stop patrol. A guard's on alert. They'll go back into normal patrol mode because you're trying to tell them that you're. It's amazing. I mean, and that game is amazing as it is. Right? Now we'll go into the Kojima stuff. The fact that you can still hide in a cardboard box. Yeah. And the cardboard box is a bloody useful tool. The fact that you can...
It's a fast travel component, isn't it?
Yeah. The fact you can package yourself up as a UPS parcel to be delivered in various points around the map. The fact you can put a poster of a bikini-clad lady on your box and then stand up to attract guards to it and then hold them up.
I know.
Genius.
That's the sort of quirky Japanese Kojima shit we like.
Then we've got...
It's deep. It's like you'll play that game and you'll discover just by accident something by chance. You go, oh blimey, I can do that.
You've then got the horse that shits on command. Which
can make cars crash
if it's on the road. That's what it's for. You shit on the road and it makes jeeps skid. That's what it's for. The dog that can kill people with a knife, which is just amazing. And then you've got Quiet,
And you got D Walker, which you've not got
D
yet.
Walker, I have, yeah. No, I don't use them a lot, but it's just got all the elements of the Metal Gear game, but just in this massive open world. It's the most fitting way this series could end, and this is the point. Konami say they're going to carry on, and this is partly why I want this game to be on the top of our list.
Yeah.
Konami treated Kojima like shit. I know the guy, he spent too much money on this game, it took forever to make, but taking his name off the case, disassociating themselves with him completely, and then kind of...
He wasn't allowed to go to the VG Game Awards either, was he? They banned him from it. I said though, I think you'll find in the podcast, one of our early ones, I said, I bet you Kojima's picked up by Sony.
Yeah, and he is. Straight away, yeah, absolutely. And I'm looking forward to whatever he makes. I hope it's not a Metal Gear game. I would hope it would be something...
I wouldn't mind him doing something similar.
He did. There's 2 other games that he did that I would really like to see sequels to, new versions of. One of them was Zone of Enders.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
Yeah.
And there's another one, is it called Slasher?
Oh, never heard of that.
Which is like an anime. This is a really old game. Anime cyber crime thriller.
Oh, okay.
Type game. I would love him to make a game like that again.
You can even pick up MGS now for 27 quid.
Yeah.
There's no reason not to indulge. And the other thing, they've added on subsequently a multiplayer online versus combat mode.
Yeah.
We can go around tranking each other, which I've heard is a bit ropey, but I've not tried it.
By the way, that game I'm thinking of is called Snatcher.
Okay.
But yeah, no, I mean, just amazing. Just amazing. And from what I've heard, we've still got the best part of that game to come, because the game finishes at around mission 32.
And then it all goes off on another tangent,
and
doesn't
the
it?
big reveal happens, and that's when the game ends / starts.
Which is a bit like MGS2.
Yeah, sort of, okay, fine. But, I mean, wow.
Well, I've managed to avoid those spoilers. I am aware of it.
I don't know what happens.
No, I don't either.
I don't know what happens.
And I'm looking forward to discovering what goes on.
But yeah, I mean, wow. I mean, that game is fantastic. Absolutely fantastic.
I bought the hardback player's guide as well.
Oh,
yeah, it's beautiful.
We've
the
not
book
even
is beautiful.
We've not even touched on one of the most amazing features, is that you can set the music playing on your helicopter.
Yeah.
When it picks you up, it can be playing Billy Idol's Rebel Yell.
Final Countdown.
Or the Final Countdown, or whatever you want. And that is just brilliant. And I didn't realise that you can, when you call in the helicopter for gun support, it's still playing the music. and
you get music by finding cassette tapes. And then you're in this... It's got a really good game loop, because then when you're doing these missions, once you've upgraded your Fulton, which is like a parachute thing that sucks up resources into the air, those big massive cargo crates, I'm now Fultoning those things up now, because those resources go to feed like a strategical mini game, which is managing your base and growing your actual mother base.
Did you try this as well, where you can basically trank a load of guys, and then load them into a jeep, and then Fulton the whole thing out with all of them in?
Well, I waited.
It's hilarious to watch.
Well, I had a mission where I had to take out this massive tank that was guarded by all these really highly rated operatives. So what I did, I waited till there was a sandstorm, snuck in, and then I Fultoned out the fucking tank from between all of them.
Yeah.
And that tank then becomes part of my resources that you can then... The other thing is you can then send guys that you've recruited, brainwashed, and send them out on missions for gathering resources that then enables you to buy add-ons for your base. I mean, there's such a deep strategy element on top of that.
You and I haven't got onto the bit which apparently a lot of people aren't happy about, which is the changes that Konami have made to the forward operating bases.
Oh, have they?
They've made some changes. It costs. There's a real world monetary cost involved.
That's if you want more than one, isn't it?
Yes, but also now it's something about something to do with your reserves, the amount of resources you're allowed.
GNP or something.
Yeah, something about that is that can be taken from online players, even if you're not playing the online part of the game.
Oh, really?
Because basically what Konami want you to do is to pay for an insurance policy to stop that happening. That's sort of like really skeezy, but
that's a bit.
We've not got that far, so I don't think that's a problem for us at the moment.
No, well, don't worry about all that shit. Just play the game, buy it for 27 quid. You've got a game that you can bury yourself in for months.
Yeah. And just
and then you can redo all the levels and try and S rank them if you want to do. You can just go in all tooled up with a battle suit and just go in and blow the shit out of everything.
I mean, that is the other thing. I mean, there's customization options, and then there's Metal Gear Solid 5. It's so ridiculous. And now that I unlocked weapon customization, so I can now literally any part of a gun that I've picked up, I can now combine them all together to make weird new guns.
Yeah,
it's just ridiculous. I don't think it needs to be that deep. But well, I think that is possibly.
It deserves number one. Witcher 3 is a very good second place, but for total gameplay and world building innovation, well done, Mr. Kojima. You did a fantastic job.
And I was just like, I think looking at this list, it took us a while to come up with 15 games from this year, but my God,
very good year.
2015 was a fantastic year. An absolutely fantastic year. And 2016 is looking like it could be even better.
Well, I've knocked up a brief list, okay? So for everyone who's interested, the things to look forward to in the nearer future, which are confirmed, January 26th, we've just had confirmed today for 30 quid, The Witness by Jonathan Blow, who did Braid, is coming out.
Yeah.
A week. We got to wait a week, and that looks phenomenal. It's coming out. Some people are whinging that it's a bit more than like an indie game price, but from what I hear, it's
the guy spent 7 years working on it.
It's a 100-hour game, that Witness. Puzzle, sort of misty type thing with quirky graphics. Mighty Number 9, which is the spiritual successor to Mega Man, is coming out in February.
Yeah.
Along with Far Cry Primal, which I'm not that fussed about.
Yeah, I think I'll skip that.
Yeah. March, Twilight Princess HD on the Wii U with an amiibo and a soundtrack CD, all for 40 quid. Or 42 quid. I've already got that prepaid. I'm really looking forward to that because I've never played that game. And even though it may not be super HD'd up, it's an adult Link, so to speak. The Division is coming out, which, by all accounts, a lot of the previewers are saying it's a lot more RPG than they're letting on. It's actually, I've actually heard a quote from someone say that they actually think the shooting is actually the weakest part of the game. So I think people have got to be very careful what they let themselves in for with that game.
Well, there is a beta of that coming up, and I'm hoping to get into that beta, and I'm very interested to play that game.
Well, I've heard them banding around terms like this is Ubisoft's Destiny, so I think it's the sort of game that I can wait and see how it pans out and maybe pick it up when it's cheap. Because to be quite honest with you, I'll be playing the Twilight Princess. April, Uncharted 4, no-brainer, that's going to be awesome. Quantum Break, for those Xbox One owners out there, looks interesting, done by Remedy, the guys who did Max Payne.
More importantly, did Alan Wake.
I'm not so sure about that myself.
I don't know.
It's not going to make me buy an Xbox One.
If it's good, it could get
good luck, Xbox owners, because you've had Tomb Raider, which has figured on some people's games of the year. It wasn't on the PS because we're primarily a PlayStation sort of couple of dudes, but the original Tomb Raider was brilliant. I really liked it, so I'm sure when that will eventually come out. It's coming out on PC, I think, in February anyway.
Yeah, Tomb Raider's out on the PlayStation 4. end of this year.
Yeah, a game that probably won't be very good is Star Fox Zero on Wii U. But again, the number of games coming out on Wii U, because the NX is going to be probably announced at E3, is pretty low. Mirror's Edge in May.
Yeah. Also, Homefront Revolution could be good by all accounts.
Mirror's Edge, the new one, is in May. No Man's Sky in June. I'm reserving judgment about that unless it ties in with VR.
This is my jam. This is the game I'm waiting for. This is it. That game looks amazing. It just looks so good.
Yeah, but it's like, I'm not so sure, because it's like procedurally generated infinite fucking galaxies and no end game. You know, what's going on with that?
You see, but you say that, I mean, this is, to me, it's kind of, it's Elite. You know, it's what I haven't got Elite. I haven't got access to Elite anymore.
No.
But as a kid, I spent hours playing Elite, and that was a simple algorithm that just gave the illusion of the infinite. And this is something that could actually be the infinite. And, you know, I think, there's something to it. I mean, you know, there's something about the game that speaks to people that, I mean, Minecraft.
I know. You know what? It's like Frontier. Remember Frontier, which was like the more graphic. That was good fun, wasn't it? And you could land on planets and all that shit, couldn't you? So
I think it'll be good. I think to me, everything I've seen of it so far is channeling the inner Star Trek in me. You know, to go off and explore new worlds and not kill things. But you know,
well, it's coming out in June, where there's not a lot scheduled for June, so I think
at the moment
they've got a good release window for that.
I'll hijack this a little bit now, because I think this year's big trend is going to be space. That's the big trend this year. We've already got Rebel Galaxy out on the PS4.
Yeah, have you played it yet?
I haven't. I'm actually going to be a good boy, and I'm actually going to wait for it to be in sale, because I reckon at Easter it'll be £7.
Yeah.
Bearing in mind that I noticed Soma's just gone down to 14.
Soma was on some people's list for games of the year as well.
Oh yeah.
What I played of it, very interesting.
So we've got Rebel Galaxy out. We've got No Man's Sky coming out. We've also got games like Adrift, which essentially
what's that all about?
That is
Lost in Space or something?
Gravity. The film Gravity.
Oh, okay.
Imagine you were in it.
Mm.
You are in a smashed up space station, and you're trying to get out, and you've got limited air, you've got things to fix. It
sort of feeds
incredible.
Into your exile fetish from years ago.
Yeah, we've also got the people who did Gone Home, their next game, Tacoma, which is also based on a space station that's falling apart.
Oh yeah. Deus Ex, Mankind Divided is out in August.
We've got Mass Effect at the end of the year as well.
So Mass Effect Andromeda. Yeah. Let's go to what are your top 3 picks for what games you that have got your eye coming out in 2016, hopefully. Top 3 or 4.
For me, I would say No Man's Sky is the top of my list.
Yeah.
At the moment. No Man's Sky. It's hard to pick.
Well, I'll give you mine, okay?
You give me yours.
Top of the list will be Yakuza 0 if it comes out this year. Probably what will come out will be something like Mass Effect Andromeda, which for me, I don't care how much it will cost. I'm getting it day one. That's one of the games I am buying day one. Another game I'm going to get day one will be Legend of Zelda Wii U, which could be also stroke NX. That looks great. It's going to be an open world Zelda with all the Nintendo magic that goes with it.
Yeah.
The other thing I'm looking forward to is Doom. The new version of Doom that they've shown.
Yeah.
That Jib Fest looks fucking crazy and looks really good fun. And the only other things really are DLC related. Really, I'm looking forward to the following from the Dying Light DLC. I'm looking forward to the Witcher DLC, and I'm looking forward to the Leatherface and the Xenomorph from Alien coming out in Mortal Kombat X as playable characters. They look. If you see the trailer, it's out in March. It looks brilliant.
Yeah,
it looks fucking brilliant. And that's another game that I've recently got on digital, Mortal Kombat X, because I've already paid for the Predator DLC and Jason, of course. Oh yeah, sorry. Quick shout out to the guys that I've helped kickstart is Friday the 13th, the video game that's due out in October.
Now. Oh, hang on.
Oh, and one more, Firewatch. That's another one that a lot of people are going on about. Although I've heard already that apparently the playtime is only about 4 or 5 hours.
So I think there's going to be a big trend this year where a lot of the retail games are going to be there's going to be a lot of retail games, but I think a lot of the games I've got my eye on might be more digital only games.
Yeah. I mean, The Witness I'm looking forward to. That's next week.
The Witness is coming soon. We've also got some sort of like weird indie titles that have been out on the PC. We've got Crypt and the Necrodance, which I quite like the look of.
Oh yeah, have you seen that one called something Tower of Space Monsters? You can download the demo. That looks really good fun.
That was good.
So I'll have to report back on that in the next podcast.
There's another game coming out which might appeal to you called Layers of Fear.
Right.
Which some people are saying is the best horror game ever made. There's a trailer up on YouTube for it. You need to take a look at that.
What was it? First person, third
person, kind of
pedestrian.
I think it's
walkabout,
like
creepy
PT.
Thing. Oh, okay, yeah.
And it's about a painter, an artist who's haunted by his past. So I think it's kind of procedurally generated as well, and it looks.
When's that due out?
Next month.
One thing that surprised me is I looked at the store today, the PlayStation store, and it's like there's tons of indie games. I mean, they're coming out at all about 16 quid, so they're not that cheap. There's a ton of indie games that have come out that I've never even heard of.
16 quid, I think, is that point where you'd go, do you know what? Yeah, I'll just pick
16 quid is when they say, look, this game is 4 or 5 gigs in size, so we put quite a lot of shit into this. Take it seriously.
I mean, like this month, I know we're getting PS4 people. We're getting This War of Mine, which I'd quite like to play.
Oh yeah, World of Tanks has come out this week as well. The beta, is it a beta? It's a beta sort of thing, isn't it?
It's out properly now.
Is it? Oh, okay. Release. Yeah, well, I've downloaded that, so I haven't played that. Oh, I saw some video of someone playing it. That might be quite good with a group of you.
I think, right, so I think my list for this year so far, I would have to say, have you done yours?
I would say, other than the fact that the biggest question mark I have about this year will be PlayStation VR. Not only the price, because Oculus came out at 500 quid, but also it could be one of these things that you'd have to try it. And I think if it knocks your socks off, because some people have been saying, well, how about if they bring out an app where you can use it like a cinema screen? So you put on the VR, and you watch a film, and it looks like you're in a multiplex cinema.
Oh yeah,
I don't know whether it would be 3D. Is VR 3D?
Yeah.
So it's 3D as well as being right in your face.
Yeah, well, it's kind of like stereoscopic, isn't it?
All right.
With the way the lenses are.
Okay, here's a question. VR. Apparently, there's 100 titles they reckon they've actually got in production or that are being made for this thing. Now they always normally say that, but is it more than a gimmick? I think that's the test. Will VR bring something to the table that people have never experienced before, and is it worth spending probably as much as they would have done on their console to get it?
I can't tell you. I'll be honest, I couldn't tell you. There's a chance. It could end up as a novelty thing.
But also, the only thing that I think about is that you know the way technology moves on, and they may be able to put OLED screens in there if they're not already, or you know what I mean. The version 2 I can see the version 2 or 3 of this gear. I think it's going to be popular, but I can see possibly that like they make a slim version of the PS4. I can see them either tidying up the model and using cheaper parts or cheaper costs to produce the same type of gear and experience, or maybe even an enhanced version. But that would probably only be in the quality of the screen. I don't know whether the processing power to produce the quality of graphics in stereoscopic would be any different. And I think they'd have to change the base unit or the processor, and it would take it away from I don't think we're going to get like an evolving piece of kit where processor's going to change drastically and give you a bit. I think maybe they'll end up putting slightly better video screens in, or maybe they'll the first run of people bear a lot of the production cost, and then they bring it out in like a cheaper version. So like with the Vita, you got OLED when you first bought it. It was a much higher quality piece of kit, but then they brought out the cheaper version for sort of slightly the same price, but the components were not as cool. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But as I said, I think it's. I don't know. I get this impression that for a piece, if all you spend your money on is a bit of tech or your games, it's something that if it's $299, you probably might consider doing.
I can't see it being $299.
You think it's going to be more? Because I know because it's got a separate piece of gear.
$499.
Because if Oculus is £500 and all it is the glasses, albeit higher quality, because we haven't got a grunty PC behind us, they're going to add on this other box which will process for processing power for one of the other screens, presumably. Because if you're doing 2 screens at once, you're going to have to get that fidelity, you're going to have 2 processors rather than one.
Oh, yeah.
It would surprise me if this little box they're giving you is like a cut-down PS4.
Yeah.
In the box.
I think it's, there's too many unknowns, particularly about the PlayStation VR.
Yeah.
Sony, at the moment, with PlayStation being the worldwide success that it's been this generation.
36 million installed user base, yeah.
They've got the money. They've got the money to maybe push this through at a way that makes it affordable for people to get on board.
Shall I tell you something else interesting I read today? How also the NX, Nintendo's next console, which they think could be like a handheld, that then in a way, it sounds to me like it's a Wii U, but the handheld bit is more like a normal, smaller handheld, and you take that away with you with all your games and play for it in a mobile format, and then you come back, and it syncs, and it's then your controller for the home console version of the same game. Which sounds really good, because in Japan, handheld sales are really high. Normal console sales are. So if Nintendo can create a handheld like the DS that sells fucking millions, they have got a chance at tapping into the console market as well.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
And on this document, apparently there's a questionnaire that came out. I think I saw it on VG 24/7 or something, and it mentioned something like 900 p 60 frames a second, which is sort of Xbox One power, isn't it?
Yeah, but yes, but I mean, to be honest, that it's kind of, I know the article you're talking about, and I mean, it's a survey, it's part of a survey,
it is,
and I can't see that information being at all accurate whatsoever, because the line before it says that it will support 4K 60 frame a second video streaming. Well, if you're streaming at 4K, why would you be playing a game at less than 1080p? There's plenty of Wii U games that are running at 1080p 60 frames a second already.
That is true, but maybe they're talking about. See, what you've got to look at is, are they actually giving you something, the power of a PlayStation 4 or Xbox One, but in your hand, that is the console that then taps into a base station for use at home. Do you know what I'm saying?
I think this year's E3 is going to be really exciting.
Whoa,
because
yeah,
they are going to release, they're going to announce what this hell this thing is.
Yeah, and at the moment, no one knows. Although they've got some, inklings or whatever, haven't they?
Yeah, part of me wants Nintendo to turn around and say, here's the NX. And everybody goes, what the fuck is that? That's stupid. What the hell are you doing? That's not going to compete with PlayStation. I don't want Nintendo to compete with Microsoft.
But it's a catch-22 because...
The Wii U, I know the Wii U's not been a success, but if you now look at what that Wii U's offered, those games are undeniably Nintendo games, and every single one of those games is something that you could get.
Well, that's because the third-party support has been very bad because it was underpowered.
But
I know what you mean. Well, what do they achieve by gaining all that third-party support? Because what you're saying is that they're looking, instead of becoming the second console that has value and is worth owning, it becomes, well, do I own this or a PS4?
They've still got a fan base, an die-hard fan base, that will buy their console and quite happily play one game every 6 months.
Well, you say that, but it's not what I've been hearing on all the Nintendo podcasts. I agree.
Those
there is
games
a die-hard thing.
Last year, the Wii U had a good year, and it's a shame that the Wii U.
Well, Splatoon won Best Shooter.
It was a shame that the Wii U last year wasn't its launch year, because they had a lineup of games last year. That's what you should have launched the console with. Yeah. Mario Maker, Splatoon,
I got
Mario
Donkey
Kart
Kong 8, Tropical Freeze
Yoshi,
over Christmas,
Woolly
and that's
World.
a brilliant game.
Yeah, Woolly World and
Toad's Treasure
Hunt, Zelda HD, Wind Waker HD. And that is the kind of lineup they needed on that machine, and it's there now, and it does work well.
Which is why I got.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And part of me wants Nintendo to not rise to the challenge. I don't want them to compete with Sony and Microsoft. I want them to stay Nintendo. I want the NX to be something ridiculous. I want it to be something stupid.
I reckon Nintendo are one of the very few console manufacturers who, if they bring out a new Zelda game on a new console, people would literally just buy that console just to play that one game.
I've done that.
And I'm one of them.
I've done that. That's how I ended up with not one but two 3DSs. Zelda games.
Because they brought out Green of Time on 3DS.
Do I regret buying it? Nope. Not at all.
Yeah.
Not at all.
It is an interest. It isn't it. I think the main thing that Nintendo need to do for all the Nintendo fans, if they can bring out a console that at least is on a par with the PS4 stroke Xbox One, it's got the same processing power and graphical capabilities, and they give you almost like a free handheld to fuck around with, that will give them more sales.
Yeah.
That will be a move in the right direction. Yeah. And I must admit, the 3DS, when I looked at someone and I looked at yours, I couldn't believe how clever they are with their tech.
Really clever.
They just need to move their next console to be at least on processing power-wise with what's out now. So when the generation after that comes, they're not going to be lagging behind with all this low-powered fucking graphics, so that we all know that Nintendo games don't need the same level of power, but I just think in the minds of gamers, they need to, when they get to the point where all the consoles change again, if Nintendo suddenly come out with something that's the same power as what Sony or whoever's asking, people might go, "Ooh, you know what? I'm going to get third-party support with this one. And actually, I think that looks to be the one I want to get. And you could see the whole console scene change.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
but not this generation.
No.
I don't think the NX is going to create that massive shift unless they bring out something that is like twice as powerful as PS4. But I think I don't think historically they do that.
No, Nintendo have never done that.
But imagine if they did. Imagine if they brought out something with the handheld component and it's twice as powerful as a PS4 and they attract lots of third-party support. So you get Call of Duty or whatever game, say Witcher, you get Witcher 3 running at 60 frames a second instead of 30 in 1080p.
I know it sounds really silly, I know it sounds strange, but I would just class that as them selling out.
But then they've got all their IP that they can then throw in there as well, which we all know is in-house and takes time to develop. And we know they've been developing stuff, the NX, because that's why Zelda's been delayed.
I think that's why this year, and this year I've not bought a Wii U. I don't own one, but my God, I do want one. This is what I think this year has been the most important year for Nintendo, the last 2015.
Well, I'll tell you what, mate, you can have mine when I buy an NX.
Seriously though, I mean, this is the year that Nintendo realised that what they need to do is they need to come up with new ideas for what they do.
Well, they've come up with all the best ideas for console controllers, haven't they? Look at Well, they brought out touch motion first. They brought out triggers first. Shoulder buttons.
I mean, the gamepad for the Wii U hasn't found its use until Mario Maker came out.
Agreed.
Right.
It's really comfortable. That
was the thing they needed to. They needed Mario Maker day one to go.
Yeah.
Oh, that makes sense.
Absolutely.
They'd have a lot more third-party games on that system if they had Mario Maker day one, because there are a lot of people would have gone, oh, we can use it for this. But
more
anyway,
often than not, they're the only people that program the software that works with their hardware in the optimal way, aren't they?
This past year, they have looked at themselves, and they've come up with a new IP, which is in Splatoon, which has taken the shooter world by storm, and quite rightly.
Yeah.
They've reinvented Mario by make your own Mario in a way that, it's still clunky, it's still got some of the Nintendo online problems. Where
the actual software itself is so intuitive.
To be able to make your own Mario levels, and I love the idea of you could to upload your level, you have to complete it.
Yeah.
To upload it.
So, to make sure it's playable.
Brilliant. It means you can't make impossible. It's almost challenging you to make the hardest level you can possibly make. But you've got to finish it before anyone else in the world can play it, and that's genius. That is kind of raising the bar. That is adding an element that Little Big Planet has never done.
Yeah.
And I'm much more sit with a gamepad, drawing on a screen, pulling tiles on, making Mario levels.
So tell you what I did this week. I spent £8 or $7.99. I bought Metroid Mission Zero.
Oh, the old GBA one.
Yeah, and it's great.
An amazing game.
Yeah,
that's a brilliant game.
I've heard it's brilliant, and so I bought it. So they've got all that back catalogue. Imagine if they brought with the NX backwards, like on the store, because they've not got GameCube games on the store yet. Imagine if you could play Luigi's Mansion and some of the classic GameCube games on the store on the NX.
Well, I think, and this is part of, where's the NX going? Last year, Nintendo committed to something they never committed to before, and that was mobile.
Yeah, albeit in a very low-key way.
Well, yeah.
They're not dishing out their massive... Although what's Pokemon Tournament or something?
What if the NX was a console...
that was more like a mobile phone?
And the handheld component to that console was just an app for your phone. Because, They must be looking at Sony's remote play functionality, which I've had working on a tablet, a phone, a Vita. That damn thing works, and it works wherever I've got a wireless connection. I can log on to my PlayStation 4 and play games.
Well, they didn't buy Gakkai like Sony did, though, did they? But, I mean, that's where...
if they can pull that off, maybe that's what the who knows? I mean,
we don't know.
Nintendo know. I would say that's possibly I would say that, to me, finding out what the Nintendo NX is more exciting to me this year than
anything. Yeah.
Than finding out how much VR is going to cost, because I know that VR is going to be something that, bearing in mind that I'm the guy who's gaming on a limited budget, I know it's going to be something that I'm going to go, wow, amazing, brilliant, cool, really, how much? Thanks.
They are the most intriguing of all the games console manufacturers, aren't they, Nintendo? Because they always innovate where the others
And I mean, it's like at the moment, Tesco's, this is a random thing, Tesco's in store around the country are having a clearance of stock, and there's some weird deals going up all of a sudden, which could be price errors and things like that. Some guy picked up a Xbox One with Forza Horizon 2 for 70 quid.
Really?
But there's apparently a lot of stores are selling the 3DS XL, the original 3DS XL, with Mario Land.
Isn't that 80 quid?
£45.
No.
No, that's the kind of thing that if you walked into a store and saw, you'd buy it. And I would be quite happy having another 3DS at that price, and going back and looking at some of those titles again.
Well, there is some talk that there was some patent that they put in where the whole front face of the handheld is a screen. I don't want touch buttons. Hopefully they're going to put real buttons, say, sticking through the TV screen or something, maybe something like that in the corner. That would make sense. That would be quite interesting to have like the whole screen, which means they can make the device smaller. I think if you're utilising the whole of the size of the unit as a screen, then you can make it smaller and make it more handheld. And then it just boggles the mind really. What are Nintendo up to?
Nintendo are they're processing an awful lot of patents at the moment for various different things, and people grab onto this. Yeah, people grab onto any time they do something like this. And go, oh my god, this is going to be part of the NX. But
no one knows
that Nintendo, that might not be a patent for what they're currently working on. It might be they've had the idea and they want to keep it, so they've patented it now.
I agree.
And it's not for another couple of years, next generation. But
I would like to see them succeed in a massive way and come out with something at E3 and everyone goes, oh my god.
I want them to succeed, but I want them to be Nintendo. I like Nintendo at the moment.
I don't think
they're
they'll
not the most
change.
Successful. I think the 3DS keeps them afloat, and that's fine. And I think the Wii U has been a bit of a disaster, but they've recovered from it. It's never going to set the world on fire.
I think they sold over 1 million consoles or something.
I would much rather see them concentrate on this innovation that they've got going on at the moment, and see where it takes them.
Because you still need a company like them to be there in order to push things forward.
Absolutely. So, right, I'm going to quickly tell you what I am looking forward to this year, which is going to be pretty boring, but it's going to have to be Uncharted 4, No Man's Sky, and
Mass Effect,
and what was the other one?
How about Firewatch? I've heard that.
I want to know more about that. I do want to know more about that. I'm kind of hoping that there's some games that come into PS4 that haven't really got dates yet.
Well, let's face it, E3's the biggie, isn't it? For what's happening.
I think Persona 5, I would like to play that.
On a console, so
I would like to play that. Also, Ni no Kuni 2 would be on my list. And also, I would like to. I know it's really childish, but I really enjoyed the first South Park game, and there's a sequel coming out.
I heard it was great, actually.
And I can't wait to play that. That'll be funny as hell.
Well, one thing's for sure, E3 is going to be incredible this year, and I'm going to try and watch all the live streams if I can, because I think it's going to be a really exciting year for
the games that we've got coming this year are all looking really, really good. The only thing that worries me is that out of the games I know that are coming out this year, I haven't seen a Witcher. I haven't seen a Metal Gear Solid 5. I mean, there's good games this year. There were really good games, but I haven't seen something that good.
Well, CD Projekt Red are working on a Cyberpunk game, aren't they?
Oh, that's not for...
I know, it's going to be a way off.
But maybe we'll see some gameplay this year. That'll be good.
Yeah.
I mean, who knows? I mean, we're still early on into the year. It could all change. I hope it does. That's the exciting thing.
Be interesting to look back when the NX does get announced about what our predictions are, because it's I love the way that no one knows what the hell's going on. All we do know is that the major component manufacturers are already got bits and pieces already lined up for manufacturing, so that the general consensus is that E3 is going to be the big reveal, and maybe it will come out with the new Zelda, as well as the Wii U version of the Zelda, to satisfy the old fans.
Do you know what I'd like? I'd like Nintendo to turn up at E3 and go, "Here's the NX. You can buy it today."
They're not going to do that, because they're going to.
There's reports going around that Foxconn are in production.
That's what I mean. Yeah, I've heard that they're in production. I mean,
wouldn't it be? It's the kind of batshit insane Nintendo thing
that would be
only Nintendo could do that, and if they did it, that would be amazing. No pre-order rubbish.
Yeah, but shops are going to want to get it in. Shops will want to take pre-orders. I think the closest they'd ever say is, and this is going to be released in 6 weeks' time.
Here's this new Zelda game running on the NX, and it's coming to the Wii U at the end of the year. But if you want to play it today, the NX is out today with that.
Okay,
they would go.
There's no fucking way that's going to happen, Mark.
Gone.
I know.
It could.
I agree with you though. I love game announcements when they say it's available in a week, or this is the game that we've said it ourselves. We're sick and tired of seeing Ubisoft demo a game on a Ninja fuck off PC, and then by the time the game hits the market 2 years later,
or target renders,
it's a shadow of its fucking original presentation.
Yeah, which is kind of what I'm worried about with The Division.
Me too.
What I saw a few years ago did look very, very good, but
I think for all its faults with Fallout, of which a lot of people love it, the fact that they said it's out in 3 months' time, that's cool. I think that's a really good way for the and it all sort of started at E3 when they said, and it's available today to download on the store, and you go to the store, fuck me, it's just been put up,
Oh yeah,
that's great. We love all that. All that. Yeah.
Right. Well, I think we've waffled on for a couple of hours again.
Yeah.
So I think it's a good time to call it.
Yeah. Give it another few weeks for our next podcast, and maybe we'll hopefully would have played The Witness, and maybe a few other indie titles, and see if there's any more news.
Well. We'll be feeling a bit better and more back into the swing of things, and we'll see where we go. But
it's looking good for gamers this year. Just make sure you start saving now, because there's going to be some serious shit to spend your money on this year.
And if you don't want to spend your money on the games of 2016, just remember there's a hell of a lot of stuff from last year.
Good point.
People didn't play that deserve playing as well.
And
I've got a list of shame of stuff I've not bought yet.
Well, if you've got a PS4, check out the store, because there's like 60 or 70% off some stuff there. Some great titles there. And also, if you own a PS3, get Yakuza 5.
Actually, I will point out, I don't know if it's available now, but I will point out, I got a PC bundle, a Humble Bundle, week bundle.
Oh,
They did an FMV week, and I got all of the Tex Murphy games for $5. But also I got Her Story, which is one of the big games.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I think it's a $5. Really, I can get it for my Mac. I might try and get that.
Really, I've played that. If you like a good murder mystery, get Her Story. That's a really good game. So, anyway, that'll do it for us.
Cool.
I've still not set up email addresses, so I'm not going to give anything out.
Just keep listening to our waffle.
We'll be back and we'll talk some more.
Leave us a review on iTunes if you can, because, that all helps.
Yeah, absolutely.
And, cool. Thanks for listening. We'll catch you later.
See you next time. Bye.
Bye.